Do you want to know where to start if you want to be an entrepreneur? Stick around. By the way, if you want the system that we're covering in this video as a free checklist, grab the link in the description. You can have a PDF of everything we talked about. I'm Alex Berman. I've generated over $10 million in sales, $100 million in leads, and currently a serial entrepreneur running multiple businesses. And the thing that I wanted to talk about today is, where do you start? If I had to start from zero right now, where would I start? And then based on that, where should you start? That's what I want to go over today. Where do you start if you want to be an entrepreneur? Well, it's easy. It is 6 steps. Step 1, get a full-time job. The thing that changed my mindset the most when it came to taking risks in entrepreneurship was having any sort of revenue source. I know as soon as we got to $3,000 a month with our entrepreneurial endeavors a few years ago, that was a huge mindset shift. And even before that, having a full-time job when I was even a junior sales guy or when I was a cold caller, all of that removed my need for finances and allowed me to take more risks. If I had to go out and become an entrepreneur again, I might go work at a Starbucks, because I know that if I'm working at a Starbucks, one, I'm not doing a bunch of shiesty stuff to make a quick buck. I can just sit there and like work my 8 hours or whatever and knock some stuff out. But in the meantime, I'm gonna be looking around at that full-time job. How is this barista pouring this water? Who's cleaning the sinks? And how are they cleaning the sinks? Right, I'm gonna be thinking about all sorts of processes. Maybe that's a video. Maybe I'll go get a job at Starbucks for a day. See what I can improve, and I'll pitch Howard Schultz, right? If I was an entrepreneur starting from zero, that's what I would do. Get a full-time job so you don't have to worry about money. I would say get a job that doesn't require too much brain power either. My little brother's a full-time beat maker now. He makes a lot of money, enough to survive selling his beats on Instagram and BeatStars and all that sort of stuff. But before he did that, in order to support himself, first he had a job at Domino's Pizza, which allowed him to focus full-time on music. Then he had a job at a recording studio, which you'd think getting a job in the industry would help. It actually hurt. While he was working at the recording studio, all he was focused on was that studio. They worked him into the ground. He didn't have any time to focus on his work. And it was only when he left that business that he was able to really hustle and start making money on Instagram and really start doing that. So getting a full-time job that doesn't take up too much of your brain power is huge for removing the need for money. Just don't get a job in your industry. I know when I was a salesperson for the agency where I was selling apps, that took up so much of my brain power. And actually cold calling also took up so much of my brain power that I had no will left to work on anything else. When I started doing marketing for that same agency instead of sales, then in the mornings I was able to work because my brain was free and I could do the work that I needed to do. So that brings us to number 2. Number 1 was get a full-time job. Number 2 is use that income to feel retired. Even if you get a job that pays you $3,000 a month, that's actually a pretty low salary in America. But guess what? All the other time you have throughout the day, and yeah, maybe you have kids and stuff like that, all the other additional time you have throughout the day should be spent on your business. If that's your goal in life, if you want to be an entrepreneur, the rest of your time should be spent on your business. I know for me, when I was first starting X27, which later became like this whole thing that we're doing now, I was working every single day in New York City. I would get up at 6 a.m., take the train into the office, and then work in the office where they were nice enough to give me a spot to do that from 7 a.m. to 9 before work started. And from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. every single day, I was sending emails and making stuff happen for my own business. I only needed to do it 2 weeks. By the end of the month, I was free. I moved from New York to Vegas after 30 days because I was totally free. This isn't a long slog. What it is a short, powerful slog that you just need to get through, and then you're an entrepreneur for the rest of your life. I haven't had a job since that moment. That was years ago, except for technically when I was director of marketing at that startup that blew up, but I try to forget about that. And I consider myself more of a contractor because I had other clients the whole time. So that is also the perfect encapsulation of number 3. Spend all your time working on other businesses, on the testing plan that we go through in Email 10K, on whatever business you want to be running, cold calling, cold emailing, doing walk-ins, whatever you need, doing Facebook ad testing. One of our consulting clients works at a FANG company, they call it, Facebook, Apple, Netflix, Google. They are actually in the best situation because they have, they're making 100K plus salary. They have 30, 40 grand they could use for their business. If they wanted to run a proper Facebook research and development process and start making money, they could do it over the course of like 2 months. People don't look at the resources they have like that. Instead, he lives off the 100K, 100 plus K a year, which is so interesting to me. You get the 100K job, And sure, you're living, your lifestyle's expanding. But are you telling me that if you, for some reason, lost your job and were down to 30K a year, you wouldn't be able to survive? And I'm not even asking you to take your 100K salary and work and live off 30K. I'm just saying take your 100K salary and live off 60K. That's $40,000 a year you can put into your business. That's what I recommend, that's what I would do, and that's actually what I did. I even went into debt because I believed in myself so much, and guess what? It got paid off. Disclaimer, I do not recommend doing that, even though I do. While you're doing all this, so you got the full-time job, you feel retired now because you're getting paid, you want to, number 4, solve an issue that actually exists. Where to start if you want to be an entrepreneur? Solve an issue that actually exists. The easiest place to find the issue is solve something that has to do with whatever your full-time job is. If you're working in a recording studio, maybe it's something to do with mixing and mastering. Maybe it's some kind of service. You can sell studio time. If you're working at a Starbucks, maybe it's like we talked about, maybe something's wrong with the ice maker. You need to design a new ice maker. I would try to start with some kind of consulting service because that's the quickest way to make money. And think about the issues that you're dealing with. What does your boss deal with? What do the lower level employees deal with? And how does that impact the bottom line? Just be thinking about this constantly while you're doing this crappy job. Then, number 5, use cold email to test if people will buy. Follow everything we say here. We'll link to another video. Use the cold email testing process to figure out if people want the business idea that you had as a service and if they're willing to pay for it. If they are, congratulations, you're free. If they're not, try again. Who cares? You've got a full-time job. You can go forever. You know, some startups will raise $1 million. Now they have a run rate, which means they have $1 million in cash to burn until they either have to raise money again or be profitable or close down. You, if you have a full-time job, regardless of the amount of money it's paying you, you can assume your run rate is infinite. As long as you're making enough to pay your bills. Like let's say I'm going to Starbucks, I'm making $4,000 a month at Starbucks as a barista, and I'm only spending $3,000 a month. I have $1,000 a month that I can use on my business. And it'll never go away as long as I work at Starbucks or I can go and work at Denny's. You know, I can go work somewhere else. It's totally cool. That's it. Also, I'm pretty confident if I got a job at Starbucks, I would be somewhere folded into Starbucks corporate or just back on the streets as an entrepreneur within 20, 30 days. Because a real entrepreneur does not want to work a full-time job. It is painful for us because the work that everyone else does in their jobs feels, at least to me, like such a waste of time. All you need to do is come up with new ideas that people find valuable and you don't have to work. And I don't know why people don't do it more, but I'm trying to help you. That's what we do on this channel, trying to help you. All you need is an innovative idea. Take some time and think about it. Go walk around, turn your phone off for like 2 hours and just walk around. And if you tell me you don't have time, then pretend that the girl of your dreams, your future wife, or even your future husband invited you to go see a movie that you were dying to see. Could you find 2 hours for that? Now pretend they canceled and go walk around for 2 hours with no phone and find an innovative idea. And that brings us to number 6. Work that job and go for as long as you need in order to make enough money to quit your job. That's it. For me, it was less than 30 days. As soon as I started doing this hardcore, less than 30 days. And actually every time I've spun up a new business and hardcore committed to it, if the business works and I follow the same testing process that I talk about in Email 10K, which is the exact same process I use, by the way, to make sure our businesses are valid and make money. Every time I've done that, it's paid off. Quickly, like under 30 days quickly. This is another place confidence comes from, knowing that even if everything falls apart, you'll figure it out. As long as you got your brain. Even if I didn't have my brain, I got grit. Go for as long as you need to find that innovative idea. And that's it. Where to start if you want to be an entrepreneur? Get a full-time job, use that income to feel retired, spend all your other time working on the business, solve an issue that actually exists, use cold email to test if people will buy, and go for as long as you need to make the money to quit your job. If you're running a cold email marketing campaign and you're getting under 80% as your open rate, grab this free document. This is 50 subject lines to test. I've sent over 2 million cold emails. We've generated over $100 million in leads. Click the link below. You can have all these subject lines. Thanks for watching the video. Subscribe for more videos like this. Give this video a like if you want to encourage this type of content. Comment below. Do you have any other questions based on this topic? Would love to hear them. Thanks for watching. I am Alex Berman.